What did you do today?
I went to yoga.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the community center, about 5 minutes walk from my house, has $5 yoga Sunday morning.
Nice.
And it's worth every penny.
I wish I could. I tried to do it. My body doesn't cooperate. My favorite part of yoga was always the cool down, the part where I just would lay on the mat and do nothing.
Yeah.
As soon as I got to that, I'm like, oh, God, this is finally over.
I mean, you could do that for an hour.
I should just learn like 3 poses and just do those.
Yeah.
And then when I get sick of those, I learn another one.
Downward dog, upward dog, sleeping dog. That's kind of all you need.
Can I just do sleeping dog?
I think so.
Okay, good. Welcome to the basement, Doug Reed.
Glad to be here.
Do you know what movie is in this envelope?
I have no idea.
It is top secret, is it not?
Yes.
I'm going to reveal it to you, and we're going to watch it, and then we're going to talk about it. Sound good?
Sounds good.
You know what else sounds good?
What?
Music.
I love music.
This movie has a lot of music in it, and it features music from someone that you're a bit of a fan of. You have the right to a public defender because we're about to watch Jailhouse Rock.
Yes! Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. One of the top tier Elvis films.
It was a struggle for me. Do I pick one of the top tier or the bottom tier?
There aren't a lot of middle tier.
Released in 1957, Jailhouse Rock was directed by Richard Thorpe and stars Elvis Presley, Judy Tyler, and Mickey Shaughnessy. Legend has it that it took composers Mike Stoller and Jerry Lieber just 4 hours in a locked hotel room to compose the 4 songs that they contributed to the film, including the title track.
It's a profitable 4 hours right there.
Just days after the film was completed, Judy Tyler, the female lead, was killed in an automobile accident. A distraught Elvis was unable to attend the premiere. It's customary on the show for me to give a gift to my co-host, and I have one for you. If you ever find yourself locked up in the clink, you might find musical instruments hard to come by. There's a harmonica, and that's pretty much it. But I'm sure even the toughest screw would not object to this unique musical instrument. The musical ruler.
Become a musician in just a few hours. I could be like Lieber and Stoller. Oh, this is what you do. You bend it over a table and twang it?
Huh.
Mind if I try it?
Yeah, no, I don't mind. Oh, it sounds lovely. Listen to the beautiful music.
Well, since my baby left me, I found a new place to dwell.
All right, put that away now,
all right.
Please.
Thank you.
Well, you don't have to go down to the end of Lonely Street. You only need to go to the old leather couch, where you can join us as we take in the musical extravaganza, Jailhouse Rock.
Roar, man. Roar. Oh, that's right, baby.
Okay, don't overdo it, Lion. I much prefer Jailhouse Jazz.
Technical advisor, Colonel Tom Parker. Boo.
Here comes the sugar man.
He's gonna sell us heroin.
Yay!
Vince Everett is a hard-working man.
And it's payday.
He cashes his check.
6, 7, $108.
That's my first time counting that high. This pretty lady sidles up to him, and she starts making the moves, but then her husband shows up. He starts
Pushing her around. Oh, and Vince doesn't like that.
Vince punches the guy one too many times and kills him.
Vince is going to the big house for manslaughter.
The movie does not waste any time.
What are we,
There's
like
no fat on this thing.
2 minutes in?
Yeah.
Says here you killed a man with your bare hands. We don't use hands here.
We use live bears. He's a new fish, and he doesn't know how prison works. Luckily for him,
His cellmate is a washed-up old country singer named Hank Houghton. Hunk.
Hunk Houghton. And he knows everything about prison, the ins and outs of the social strata, and how many cigarettes you have to spend to get goods and services.
If you do what Hunk says, you'll be okay.
Hunk picks up his old guitar and sings a little country song.
One more day, one more day, one more day.
That song was called 2 More Days. It's a very misleading title.
I used to have an uncle that had one of these things. I fooled around with it some.
Tried to get it pregnant. Didn't work. Then I realized you have to strum on it and make music.
Hunk smells opportunity. This kid can actually sing a little.
Hunk organizes a prison review that's going to be televised. And he gets Vince to do a number.
Gonna be mighty sorry this next boy is a short-termer. 'Cause he sure sings pretty.
And he sure kills men. He sings a song called I Wanna Be Free.
Fan mail starts rolling in.
And Hunk gets an idea. Let's not show Vince the fan mail right away so he doesn't get a swelled head. And then I'm going to convince him to sign this contract with me because I can see he has star potential. Then I'll get a big payoff.
We split everything right down the middle.
You can trust me, I'm a felon.
Vincent, Millicent, Everett.
The months go by.
It's almost Christmas.
Oh, Christmas in prison. It's such a magical time. Hunk tells him all about this club called La Florida, where he can get a job as a singer, because Hunk knows the owner of it, Sam Brewster.
And Vince gets out of jail.
Is that all the jail we get in this Jailhouse Rock movie? That's it?
Now we get House and Rock.
Oh. He gets himself a room. Rent is $7 a week, bed bugs included.
I saw you on television today singing from the jail, and I thought you looked real cool. My name is Mary Jane Hamilton, and I'm 15 with blue eyes and brown hair.
And by the time you get out, I will be of age and ready to go the distance.
My daddy, Reverend Hamilton, doesn't know that I write the convicts on the TV.
He buys himself a guitar. He goes to La Florita.
Vince meets Peggy Van Alden.
Tell me what you see.
About 5'4", weighed 115, pretty well stacked.
You're packed in your stack, especially in the back. I want to thank your mother for a butt like that.
And she's a record exec. She works with Mickey Alba, who's a big star. Vince meets Sam Brewster and asks him for a job, but Sam Brewster wants to give him a lame job. Vince wants to sing.
I'll see you around, honey.
Okay, bye, sweetie.
Vince hops up on stage with his guitar.
You just go ahead, whatever you're doing, it won't take long.
You're so young.
You were 15 when you wrote me in jail. He's gonna wow the crowd, right? Wrong.
It's so red.
Just don't let me interrupt you, mister.
But you told them that they could do whatever they want. You told them. He flies into a rage.
Won't get fooled again. And storms out.
He sees Peg outside.
Why don't you get me off the streets, huh? I'm bushed.
I'm bushed and stacked, and that's a winning combination. I just don't know what to do. Well, if you listen to yourself sing, you can figure out what's wrong. I'll get you a recording session at this studio.
Vince records his demo. It's not very good.
Man, that's awful.
It just sounds like everybody else. Well, sing it differently.
Put your own emotions into the song. Make it fit you.
He starts, he starts singing, you know, he does the Elvis thing.
Don't leave me now.
It's official, Doug. I'm gay. And suddenly the song sounds great. It sounds like nobody else. Hugo Winterhalter, the Hugo Winterhalter?
I just got the Hugo Winterhalter complete box set. Peggy's ready to go shop it around to the major record companies.
But they're not interested because Vince is an unknown person.
I think he's got a very distinctive style.
Everybody's got a distinctive style these days.
What I wouldn't give for some good old-fashioned boring music.
Here, have some Hugo Winterhalter.
Now you're talking. Finally, a record company bites. Peggy tells Vince the good news. He's kind of sullen and jerky about it. He's in a bad mood. She takes him to a party at her parents' house, but they're talking about jazz.
I think Brubeck and Desmond have gone just as far with dissonance as I care to go.
And Vince doesn't like that conversation.
Lady, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
He just storms out. Keep those hands off my stacks.
How dare you think such cheap tactics would work with me?
Well, they worked. Good job.
It's just the beast in me.
The beast that loves and kills. The next day, Vince's record is going to be released. He apologizes to Peggy for being a jerk, and they go to buy the record. But his name isn't on the record label.
Don't Leave Me Now by Mickey Alba.
Mickey Alba copied his arrangement and his vocal mannerisms. He basically stole Vince's persona.
Come in.
Vince, Mickey Alba, is dead. He's been murdered. But Vince isn't upset. He knows that this happens. This is how the game is played. You get fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Fool me once, shame on you, and all that. He decides to start his own record label. Then no one can steal his recordings from him. Peggy quits her job and signs on for a 60-40 split.
Do you know a lawyer?
Yeah, I know a lawyer. Mr. Shores. But he's a cold-blooded old fish.
Good.
The incorporation papers will cost you $100.
And your soul.
Their record label is Laurel Records.
You're gonna make me sore.
Is that the lawyer?
Yeah.
What is he doing?
Run the old pretty fingers through my hair.
God, I don't want to put my fingers in that grease pit.
Their first song, Treat Me Nice, becomes a quick hit thanks to DJ Teddy Talbot, who's a friend of Peg's.
Suppose we get together and split a herring.
I'd like that.
Split a herring? Is that sex?
Yes.
Sex talk?
That's 50s sex talk.
Okay. Here we are, music to split a herring to. It's Treat Me Nice.
Vince Everett is a big deal.
I now have confidence in your earning potential, Mr. Everett. I have the papers already prepared.
The contract won't be finalized until we exchange a single kiss.
Vince, come on in.
I see you've got your stacks on display.
You look sexy tonight. Start the hammers to pounding in my skull.
I don't think those are hammers, and I don't think that's his skull.
Vince is going to take Peggy out on a fancy dinner date, but she has a date with Teddy Talbot. You see, she and Vince aren't dating. They're business partners. Vince doesn't like this one bit.
After the success of his initial record, Mr. Everett was enabled to command more advantageous contracts.
Vince's lawyer is now the Greek chorus of the film.
Yes.
Vince is a successful star. He gets a gig on an NBC TV show to sing a rock and roll song.
Hank Houghton. Hunk. Jesus.
Hunk Houghton shows up. He just got out of prison.
You know how old this bourbon is?
How old?
12 years old.
About as old as those girls that were writing to him in prison.
12 years old.
Hey, buddy, remember your old pal? I want a spot on that TV show. I'll see what I can do. The big hit of the show is a little number called Jailhouse Rock.
Number 47 said to number 3, you were the cutest jailbird I ever did see. Come on and do the jailhouse rock with me.
In the shower. In the shower.
That's number 47 and number 3 again. They're making a 50.
And then Hunk comes on.
I'm up in the morning with the rising sun.
I thought you were doing that because you were saying he has night terrors. He wakes up screaming.
But it's terrible. He's just no good, particularly following Vince. So they cut the number. Hey, Vince.
Remember that contract you signed in the cell, boy? I own 50% of you.
I want my cut.
I put Mr. Shores on that contract. It's not worth the ink it took to write it. You should have checked with a lawyer, Dad.
We resolved that conflict pretty quickly.
I do appreciate what you did for me, so I'll give you 10%. Vince goes to Hollywood. Climax Studios wants to sign him to a film contract.
We welcome you, Vince, with all our hearts.
We've got some fine porn for you to star in.
And his co-star, Sherry Wilson, is a pretty starlet. And it's time for them to shoot their first love scene.
The love scene.
Making love to that rube won't be easy.
It will be impossible for me to achieve Climax, the namesake of this studio.
Rub me temples, rub me sweet.
And after that first kiss, Sherry is gaga for Vince. Now they're dating.
I want to throw a party.
In the county jail. The prison was there and they began to wail.
Vince has a pool party and he sings a new song.
Baby, I don't care.
The singer's not mic'd. The best place to listen is on the other end of the pool.
You're so square. Baby, I don't care.
Doug, you're so square. And I care. Stop it.
Sorry.
You didn't say a thing about my outfit.
You haven't mentioned my camel toe once.
Peg shows up out of nowhere.
Peg, it will come back to you.
Vince is so happy to see her because he's missed her all this time. Hey, Vince, do you think you can cut some new songs? Because you haven't made any new songs in a while.
Nobody gets so big that they can ignore the records, Vince. Not even you.
Records are not square, and you should care about them.
Sure.
Mr. Shores comes by.
Mr. Everett?
I'm here to narrate at you.
There's an offer for the record company.
From Geneva Records.
Don't mention that clip joint to me.
Even though it involves $750,000 in capital gains?
Whoa.
They want to buy Laurel Records.
I'm selling the record label, and there's nothing you can do about it because I am a 51% shareholder.
Is there no emotion left in you but the lust for money?
The lust for money was way at the beginning when you first met him. It was always there.
She runs off in tears.
Hunk has had it.
I'm gonna beat hell out of you.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
I said don't try.
Punch, 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 punch. Punches him in the throat.
An ambulance is called. They rush Vince off to the hospital.
His throat is in tatters. He might never sing again.
You can visit him in about 24 hours, but please don't let him talk.
I gotta go 24 hours without no more throat punching? I can't do it, Doc! They do an operation. He comes out of the operating room. You're so square, baby, I don't care.
I can hardly find the words to tell you how bad I do feel. If I can only take it back, I cut off both my arms up to the elbow, and that's no lie.
And replace them with hooks and lasers.
And then I can really get at that throat of yours. Time passes, and the doctor is examining Vince's throat.
Your larynx looks as good as it ever did.
It's downright sexy. But your confidence is what's injured right now. That's what you really need to get ahead of. Peggy brings in the old band, and they do the old number, Young and Beautiful.
The voice is coming back. He can sing.
He's going to be okay, because he's learned some lessons. And that is the story of Jailhouse Rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building.
This was a very different movie than I expected it to be. I thought the Jailhouse Rock number was done in jail. And so I thought the whole movie was like the Jailhouse Rock song, that it was this prison fantasia of dance numbers and choreography and stuff like this. But this was really gritty and spends very little time in jail.
It's interesting to have him be that dark of an anti-hero for that much of the film. A misguided good guy. Much darker than you expect in an Elvis film.
He thinks like a con throughout most of the movie. A record contract is just so many cigarettes to him. He seems really comfortable in front of the camera. And he seems really comfortable with saying lines.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of impressive. Especially when you look at his real-life band. When they show up on screen, they're just like, I am hitting my mark. I am sitting down. I am playing the bass.
Oh, the director's telling me not to look at the camera.
Yeah, it's like watching Steve Cropper in the Blues Brothers.
Exactly.
So Elvis doesn't... Hey, Elvis is very natural.
He does this, he does King Creole, and then goes into the army. And then when he came out, he started doing the Blue Hawaii type color films that were just... There was nothing there.
And they were just cranking them out.
Yeah.
You know, 3 per year.
It's just a shame that he never got roles that could really sink his teeth into.
He says hell. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. He says the word sexy. That seems like in 50s it would be a little dodgy.
That scene in his room where they're on the bed planning the record company was for a Lucy and Desi era when the beds were separate. There was some heat there.
Yeah.
It's fun to see the dangerous Elvis, the Elvis that freaked out Eisenhower America.
And really, in this movie, the guy, you never know who he's going to be from scene to scene. You never know if he's going to be surly or lovesick or what, because he's going up and down
kind of
all the
manic
time.
depressive, yeah.
When I was looking at the opening title of this movie, it just occurred to me that Schoolhouse Rock is a take on Jailhouse Rock.
That had never occurred to me until now.
All right, well, we both learned something. Just like Schoolhouse Rock wanted us to.
That and adverbs.
I think they're a bit I don't know a lot about contracts. I think Hunk's contract would have stood up in court. Because from what I hear, you can draw a contract on a napkin, and if someone signs it, it's legally binding.
Vince's new high-priced fancy lawyer could be bluffing.
Right.
Because Hunk never does take it to court.
Because Hunk doesn't really know anything about law. He just knows how to hustle.
Interestingly, I was in Memphis at a hotel right across the street from Graceland. And I discovered that Elvis movies are better in concentric circles the closer you are to Graceland.
Huh.
I watched Girl Happy on the hotel TV. Oh, this isn't bad. And then I watched it again at home hundreds of miles away from Graceland. It's horrible. It's shit. So there's a magic spell coming from Memphis.
There's something in the water.
Exactly. Who played Hunk?
Mickey Shaughnessy. Okay. He reminded me of this other actor, Thomas Gomez, who was in Force of Evil and Ride the Pink Horse. They both have a similar build. They both have similar voices. It's good to give Elvis a foil in Hunk and in Peggy, a decent actor for him to kind of bounce off of. Jailhouse Rock has been paroled, and it's now free to go. And we are free to go visit a place known as Seen It.
Seen It.
Mr. T. Veenstra, you got the Harder They Come soundtrack? Seen It? Yeah, man, seen it.
Seen it.
This is Jimmy Cliff singing and acting.
Mm-hmm.
It's a John Dillinger story, basically.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen it. I don't remember much about it. I remember there's a scene with a razor that is really gnarly.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to watch.
A lot of it's hard to watch just because he's on this stigmata. A lot of it's really hard to watch just because as he slides into crime, you see where the end is going.
And you wonder why this guy doesn't just stick to music. He cuts a record at the beginning of the movie, and it's, you know, he's got that talent. And it's one of the best soundtracks of all time.
Yeah.
Everyone should own this soundtrack. It's the very best that reggae has to offer.
Toots and the Maytals and Jimmy Cliff.
Desmond Decker.
Yeah. Alexander Pascal writes Ace in the Hole. Seen it?
Seen it.
Billy Wilder.
This is one of Billy Wilder's very darkest films.
Yeah.
It's a little movie about the essential ugliness of humanity. They'll do horrible things for a few pennies.
Or sensationalism.
Yeah.
Other than the trapped miner, there's no one to root for in that movie. One of my favorite performances is Frank Cady, the guy who played Mr. Drucker on Green Acres, plays a dad who just happens to be driving through with the family.
The rube, yeah.
Yeah. Trapped miner, let's stop and watch.
Let's put our lives on hold and just hang out here.
Yeah.
Kirk Douglas is a scoundrel through and through from the very beginning. From
the
very first frame of the movie. This guy's no good. He'll stab his grandma in the back for a nickel.
Yeah.
But when it gets to the point where he realizes what he's done and the anguish that you see, you really feel for the guy. I've done this thing and I finally realize that it's the worst thing and I can't take it back.
And it's too late.
It's too late. Derek Barnes, seen it. Dog Day Afternoon. Attica, seen it.
Seen it.
This is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love this movie. I could watch it 100 times. I've watched it maybe 3 times.
I just watched it recently for the first time.
Yeah, what'd you think?
It's funnier than I thought it would be, and it's funny because it's a very human laughs of recognition. Like, oh, this is what I would do if I were trapped in a bank in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rooting for Sonny and Sal. I feel for them, and I'm rooting for Charles Durning as the cop. Everyone in the movie, you just want them to get through this okay.
Yeah, it's just one mess after another. The bank robbery is a mess. The crime scene outside is a mess. The city is a mess. This guy's life is a mess. His brother's life is an even worse mess. And so it's just mess upon mess upon mess. And that's what just draws you in. Like, how bad can this situation get?
Quest for Perfect Sound writes, seen it. The Man Who Killed Don Quixote.
After 25 years, he finally made it.
Yep. I wanted to like this movie a lot more than I did.
Yeah?
It felt too convoluted.
Right.
Had I not had the 20 years of anticipation, having seen Lost in La Mancha, and knowing what Terry Gilliam went through to make this film, it's a little like the Beach Boys' Smile.
Okay.
It's this lost masterpiece. It's this legendary thing.
I want to like Smile more than I do. Yeah.
Yeah. The story didn't hang together for me. I couldn't watch Adam Driver without thinking how much better Johnny Depp would have been 20 years ago in the role.
Sure. Well, the last Gilliam movie I'd seen before this was The Zero Theorem, which is very not good. So this was an improvement over that.
Okay.
I know the original story had a time travel element.
Mm-hmm.
And this sort of did away with that, but it's still... Time was very elastic throughout this.
Yeah.
After a while, I found that intriguing once I got used to it. There was an inside joke in there that I finally got after the movie was over. Stellan Skarsgård's character, when it starts raining, he says, "This was the one month where it wasn't supposed to rain." I think Gilliam says that in Lost in La Mancha.
I think he does.
During the flood.
Yeah.
I think that's a joke for that. So I appreciated that. It's a movie of really good moments. Scenes that can almost be little short films.
Yeah.
There's a little website that you are free to go to, and that's our website, welcometothebasementshow.com. Our entire back catalog is there, including our The Meg episode, which is no longer viewable on YouTube. You can see it on the website. And there are PayPal donation buttons that you can click on and make a one-time or rolling monthly donation to support this show. Your support is greatly appreciated. It warms my heart, and it keeps the show going. So thank you. And if you want to see more Doug and Matt chat and watch us open the mail and do stuff like that, you can watch Unboxing, which comes out this coming Friday. Right now, take a look at this.
Hey, you birds, come here.
I got packs of cigarettes dancing in my head.
How'd you like to make 5 cartons apiece?
For what? Who do you want us to murder?
This is the easiest money you'll ever make as long as you live. All you gotta do is to keep your mouth shut.
No, seriously, who can we murder? Because we haven't murdered in a while. And it'd be nice to do some murdering.
I'm gonna beat hell out of you.